Hello, I'm RandomMan 5000 for PlusXP.com. I'm here with Nick from Firefly for
Stronghold Crusader 2.
Yes, that game that he mentioned just there. And you would never know with the t-shirt.
No, dead giveaway.
Anyway, Stronghold Crusaders 2. What is different about this one than the original, and what makes it its unique game?
Well, obviously it's been released 10 years later, so there's been a slight improvement in graphics over that time. It's going to be in full 3D, but a lot of the gameplay is going to be in the same sort of 2D games. So you've got sort of everything's placed on a grid. The sort of game speed still very fast-paced, still focused on sort of the strategy over the sort of city builder aspects, because those are still in there, but it's more about the combat and the real-time strategy than the core Stronghold series. But it's mainly just about improved graphics, more units. A lot of the units have got special abilities now, so it's not just about which one beats the other one. There are sort of certain abilities of some units can counter another unit. So if you've got one who can charge in, another one might be able to sort of stick his spear into the ground and sort of stay in the defensive stance. So it's more about sort of playing off the units against each other, and a bit more like that in the original game, because the original game had a little bit of that, but it wasn't it was only a couple of units in there.
Okay, now you mentioned the special abilities. Now, you said troops had special abilities. Do any of your builds, for example, have special abilities for any of your buildings or any of your war things like the catapults or anything like that?
So there are various types of siege equipment, and obviously some of them will cost a lot more gold than others, and there are sort of more advanced levels of catapults. So you have a war wolf, which is like this massive hulking battle machine, and obviously you have the small catapults as well. So there are different sort of tiers of siege equipment, but there aren't abilities for the siege equipments themselves. Because the thing is, right, if we gave the siege equipment abilities, people would kill us because they hate magic. They want everything to be as realistic as possible. So we're aware of that, and we're keeping things historically accurate. So whereas a guy might be able to do a spinning attack, if we give like a catapult some kind of magical rock, people are going to kill us for it, so we can't do that.
Okay, now have you ever considered adding another aspect to the game? For you have the villagers and you have a war aspect. Have you ever considered having like a civilization, like a whole open world aspect to this one? Because you've got it with something else, but not with this one.
See, if we had 1,000 developers, I would love to do that. But we're a small team. We're only about 15 people working on Crusader 2, and then another 15 working on our MMO. So, the scale has to be sort of kept within certain bounds to make sure it's a fun game still. I mean, it's quite enough combining two genres of, the sim, the city builder, and the RTS. Like, that's quite challenging in itself without having to go to open world. But who knows? Look, if you guys buy like 3 million copies of Crusader 2, and maybe we can expand to like 100 devs and maybe bring that to life. But for the moment, it's just going to be kept sort of small scale but fun and balanced and bug free. Okay,
and 2 more questions. One, is there anything in the pipeline for like Crusaders to kind of have like additions or anything like that?
We hate this thing about DLC being planned before release. It should always be something, post, but we've got some plans for it. But basically, we want to get the base game out by sort of spring next year, maybe early summer, depending on, how development's going, and then, launch it with 8 characters, and then add another 8 post-release, add some mini campaigns and stuff like that. But some of that will be free, some of that will be paid for DLC. But it's mainly just about getting the best game out there, and then coming to DLC after release, and think about that as a separate thing. But there will be a mix of paid and free DLC.
Okay. And my last question: bacon or games?
What?
Bacon or games?
Oh, bacon! Come on, bacon and games. Bacon in bed playing games. That is the best thing in the world. I have to choose both, I'm sorry.
Okay, bacon and games. I concur. Anyway, I'm RandomMan 5000 for PlusXP.com. Thank you for watching.